It's Christmas, babe. Come on. Street lights glow like a candlestick chalk. Got a peppermint sway in my midnight walk. I'm gift wrapping dreams in a velvet box and the bow on top. A little bit of market talk. My shoes keep red like a bullish run, but the pockets stay green when the work gets done. Chimneys puffing signals like a late night trade. I'm the Santa of the soul in a holiday phase. Sleigh bells riding on a 4-beat groove. Money snow swirling every time I move. That festive volatility. Oh yeah, baby, welcome to the season of liquidity. Cinnamon pop. Charge looks sweeter when the beat won't stop. I'm tipping nails with that overtime pay, cause they hustling this season in a North Pole way. My block face hums like a vintage brim. Stockings hang low like a discounter stamp. And I'm lounging by the candles with a velvet grin. Baby, every holiday's a win-win-win. Midnight market, snowfall targets, Santa might clock out, but velvet never bargains. Feeling that glow, that glow, that glow, that glow. Velvet in the moonlight, sugar mint spotlight, cozy and right tonight. The market's warm and the groove's on fire. Wrap it up, seal it tight. Velvet got you paid tonight. Ooh. Merry Christmas, baby. Liquidity season's bright.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where it is a beautiful Tuesday, December the 2nd, and according to some pre-market action, we're already seeing some nice, I guess, turnaround Tuesday vibes, if you will, so I hope you're having a good one. Looks like crypto finally showing us a little bit of a reprieve, which means MSTR, at least for this 1 second, has stopped its vomit fest. And if you saw the update video yesterday, I just don't get MSTR. Not in terms of its price action. I fully get its price action. And obviously when there's panic in the underlying that's on its treasury and its leverage, of course, it's going to go down more. What I don't get about MSTR is why anyone is playing it as a Bitcoin play. If you like Bitcoin, go get Bitcoin. If you want leverage Bitcoin, go play a leveraged ETF. If you want more leverage, go play Bitcoin futures. Why take on this other, I guess, business risk of corporate loans and debt servicing and at the market offerings and all that stuff? I don't get why right now. I understand MSTR back before we had Bitcoin ETFs, but if you are a person who specifically likes Bitcoin, why in the world are you playing MSTR? If you dislike Bitcoin, why are you playing MSTR? I don't get for the life of me why anyone is playing MSTR. It does not make sense. There are ETFs, there are leverage ETFs. You could get Bitcoin itself. There are futures, there are perp contracts. There's everything in this world that gives you direct exposure to Bitcoin, whether a bull or a bear. I just don't understand the vehicle of MSTR anymore. And I haven't ever since all those ETFs were approved. And I think other people, especially now that MSTR is severely underperforming Bitcoin, I think people are starting to really understand because people really, really like Sailor or they really, really hate them. Doesn't make sense. Tax reduction, that's not true. Where are you getting the fact that it's a tax reduction? From how many losses? You're just writing off your losses? I mean, I guess maybe that's the only legitimate offer argument is you've traded so well that you need to have cap losses. So you're trading something that is going to cause cap losses, but tax reduction, I don't think you understand how taxes work. Or maybe the person who explained taxes to you doesn't fully understand how they work. But anyway, regardless, if you happen to be in it, I don't want you to lose. You can breathe a little bit of relief right now because, like I said, Bitcoin, crypto as a sphere, last night when we were sleeping seemed to kind of settle out. We're seeing a bit of a recovery, which means MSTR is having a bit of a recovery. And if you look at the overall equities market, things are actually looking pretty good this morning. So I'm going to be doing a full breakdown of the key levels of the day as we normally do, the key gamma levels, the key delta levels, the key psychological levels. We'll be breaking that down. We do have some news that we should be going over. I would argue that the biggest market news is really next week with the FOMC meeting, but related to that, we actually do have some news, and it seems like pretty confident that a new Fed chair, we know it's going to be Kevin Hassett. So I want to talk about that and what it means for the world of equities and for crypto. We have a little bit of news related to Russia and a meeting that's about to take place there with Witkoff and what that might mean, what that might not mean. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And then I found an interesting side story related to the world of Apple that I want to share with all of you, just because obviously for many, many years, that was the world's number one company. And then ever since the rise of Microsoft, well, actually Microsoft was, then Apple took over, then Microsoft came back, and then NVIDIA leapfrogged all of them. And now we're in this situation where Microsoft's kind of falling off a little bit, but then we have Apple kind of regaining some strength, and then the same with Google. So I want to talk about that in terms of more of these longer term swing positions or maybe even investment positions. So I'm going to chit chat about all that. And then, of course, I want to get you guys ready for the day in terms of the major levels and maybe a little bit of a day trading, scalp trading, a little bit of a plan there. And then at that point, ideally, the market opens, we execute that plan, we make money, and ideally it happens, I don't know, even before 10 a.m. And then we just get to mess around for like an entire hour, and then we move on with our life. So that's the plan. I don't know if it's going to happen that way, but I hope we could stick to it. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys joining me at the crack of dawn. We are up before the sun. I believe most of the East Coast has a snow day or at least some sort of severe weather going on. So if whatever you're doing right now, please be safe because it looks like some of the roads might be a little bit treacherous as I'm peeking out, looking down upon this New York kingdom of mine. So if you happen to be traveling today, please be careful. It looks like some of this could be a little bit questionable. Stock futures rebound as Bitcoin bounces, tech stocks gain. Yes, so right now in pre-market trading, things are looking pretty decent. The SPY's up 0.33%, the Qs are up 0.46%, the Russell's up 0.75%, and Bitcoin is rebounding all the way to 88,000. So we are seeing a nice bounce back. Will it hold? Obviously, your answer and your thoughts are as good as mine. We're taking a 50-50 shot. All I can comment on right now is we are seeing strong bullish price structure, bullish price momentum, and obviously we're waiting a little bit on the options market to open, but I wouldn't be so surprised if things really get a little bit exciting right at market open. So right now, the bull camp is happy. Taking a step back, talking about the larger global news, U.S. envoy arrives in Moscow as Putin says a key Ukraine city fell. So Witkoff is there trying to broker this deal between Ukraine and Russia. I'm bringing it up and I want to remind you guys of this just because I know we've been waiting years for this to end. And I would assume on the initial announcement, the market could clearly have a reaction. So I just don't want anyone to be taken by surprise of any of this big news getting announced. So I just want to let you know it's still ongoing. They're still chit-chatting. We seem to be getting closer than we previously were to the end of this conflict. So just wanted to put that on everyone's radar. The Fed has rarely been so divided over its long-term plan for interest rates. So once again, taking a larger view, but this time coming back to the U.S., the big thing right now is what in the world is going on with our monetary policy. Unfortunately, we're not going to be getting the update this week. We're getting it next week. I want to say December 10th, whatever next Wednesday is, a week and a day from today, which would put us at the 10th. But anyway, That's when we get the results of the next FOMC meeting. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. And recently we've had some voices. We've had some voices that don't necessarily go together for the longest time. Basically, ever since the start of Rona, through that whole period, I'm talking years, they were always unanimous votes. But now with Trump being back in office and putting in some new Fed members, all of a sudden we do have some dissenting voices. And actually for the last two FOMC meetings, they have not been unanimous. And right now people are looking at the next meeting to actually be the exact same thing. So I don't want to bury the lead or anything. I do want you to know that most likely we are getting a 25 pips rate cut according to according to Kohrs and to Polymarket, and also pretty much the same odds at the Fed Watch Tool. 88% chance that we do get a 25 bips rate cut. So the market right now, if you look at the bond market, the yield market, even just the straight up event betting markets, it is pretty confident that we are in fact getting a 25 bips rate cut. And really this all got going, I want to say last week. Was it last week? No. It was 2 Fridays ago. Where Williams, the New York Fed president, had a speech at like 7:30 in the morning. And he said, basically, we're getting a 25 bips rate cut. And ever since then, surprise, surprise, that's exactly when the market started to recover. So we had a little bit of a gap up on Friday. We went up on the day itself. And then look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row. And it all got kickstarted on Friday, November the 21st, when once again, John Williams, the New York Fed president, said, hey, I think we're going to get it. And you could see if I zoom out, you're not going to be able to nicely see it. But that's exactly when these odds started to change and spike right here. You can see the 21st pop. And ever since then, it has been holding pretty constant. So we're pretty confident that we're getting a 25 bips rate cut. What the market's really going to be listening to is really how many dissenting voices were there, what was their reasoning for dissenting, and then on top of that, well, we have the new drama of probably getting the next Fed chair. Why Kevin Hassett is winning the Fed chair race before it has ended. Interviews for the position are still underway, though Hassett offers what other candidates don't, the president's trust and credibility with the market. So Hassett, this guy right here, is already a part of the administration, the NEC, the National Economic Council. He's the director of it. And right now, once again, if you look at the odds, he is the front runner to the tune of, we're pretty sure, we are 81% confident that this dude's going to be picked. Generically, if you read anything about him, he is perceived to be bullish for both equities and crypto. And why that is, without getting too much into the nerdy conversation about it, is he's probably going to keep cutting rates. And remember, it's not just this guy that gets to decide. It's not just Powell. It's not just the chair. Everyone gets an equal vote. There's it changes a little bit. Sometimes people abstain, but it's in the realm of 12-ish voting members on the FOMC. And once again, it does change a little bit here and there, but overall, they all get the same vote. And if someone wants to outvote the other people, they definitely can. But it's not like the chair gets like some sort of super vote or anything like that. But anyway, even though his vote's going to count the same as the other members, it's kind of just the overall vibe of what's going on. And the best way maybe I could explain it is, you've probably heard about historically how some presidents have stacked the Supreme Court because there's no technical like limit on how many there could be. So you're just messing with like the math of it. Well, in a somewhat similar vein, you could argue that Trump is slowly but surely, methodically stacking all the Fed governors in his favor to make sure he has the majority of whatever votes he wants. And obviously right now, he has this big emphasis on continuing to cut rates, making money itself cheaper. And when money is cheaper, obviously there's more capital expenditures, and the market, at least in the short term, likes that little jolt. So we're going to see if it actually plays out that way. But in the meantime, this is what the market is happy about. As regime change looms at the Fed, one candidate emerges as the front runner for chair. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett has been dubbed the clear favorite for the next Federal Reserve chair. As Sunday about the situation, Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One, "I know who I'm going to pick. Yeah, we'll be announcing it. Whoever the actual pick is will take over Fed that is currently torn over the future course of interest rates and facing calls for aggressive reforms." Remember, even though we might be finding out soon, as in like maybe in the next couple weeks, they don't technically take over until May of next year. Once again, it might be announced soon, but that doesn't mean they get power right away. Once again, it's probably going to be in May. Obviously, Jerome Powell could step down earlier. Probably not going to happen. But anyway, we have seen this historically where it's a little bit of a drama-filled thing. Historically, generally, it's a lot closer because here's what's going to happen. Imagine a situation, let's just say hypothetically, that Kevin Hassett is announced today. Well, you have December, January, February, March, and April. You have 5 full months where one guy's in power, but we know he's about to lose power. So even though he has all these speeches and announcements and decisions, the market and the economy are very much forward-looking mechanisms. So even though he's going to, and when I say he, I mean Jerome Powell, is going to have to do all this stuff, really, everyone's just going to care about what Kevin Hassett has to say because he's going to be in control potentially for the next many years. It depends on if the next president keeps him in there, but at minimum, he's going to be in 4 years. So it's this awkward window of time where technically one guy has the title and the power, but the rest of us kind of care about the guy who's about to come in. So if you want to look into it, it has happened before, and it's the concept of like a shadow Fed chair, where even though he's not officially there in title, people more care about his opinion than anyone else's. So there's a really, really good shot that this is going to be happening in this situation. And this isn't the first time. This has played out in U.S. history before. It's generally not a good thing because it's a little bit of confusion, and generally it means the person in power, i.e. the president, doesn't like the Fed chair. But I don't think any of you are at all surprised to find out that Jerome Powell is not necessarily best friends with Trump at this moment, because in Trump's mind, the Fed fund rate should be way, way lower. And the Fed as an organization, all those voting Fed members just simply don't agree. So in a weird way, you could argue that he's against the symbolism of the Fed, which is Jerome Powell. But I want to make it clear, no one on the Fed, even Mirren, the guy he just installed, when I say he, I mean Trump. Trump just put Mirren into office. Even Mirren doesn't think that the rate should be as low as Trump wants them. And it's one of those things, like, does Trump really think it should be that low, or is he just speaking in a verbose way to kind of make his point? I don't know. You'd have to ask him on that. But this is probably the drama to pay a little bit attention to this week. But I have a feeling that this is going to be the next major market mover next week when we find out what in the world is going on with the Fed decision. But in the meantime, that is not stopping crypto from going absolutely crazy. The Bitcoin rout picks up steam as investors fret over a new crypto winter. Bitcoin had its worst day since March and is down more than 30% from its peak. A lot of people are running around saying, hey, it's not down for a reason. Like, what is the reason? And I find that to be like a really, really poor question because you don't know why people are buying and selling. Yeah, I see a lot of people citing this concept of the yen carry trade. Maybe people are trying to realize losses for taxes at the end of the year. Maybe it's a fat finger mistake. Maybe it's because of MSTR. Who cares? I just don't understand this idea of trying to explain every single movement because at the end of the day, price is truth. You're either making money from being on the right side of price movement or you're losing money by being on the wrong side of price movement. And this idea of, like, I think it's impossible to explain why things are moving either up or down because that means you have to know every other trader and why they made the decision they made. Are they looking at the news that you're looking at? If they are they interpreting it the same? Did they mean to do that? Is it a high frequency trade? Is it an algorithm? Is it an investment bank? Is it a hedge fund? Is it a fat finger mistake? Is it someone blowing out? Is it some Saudi prince who decides he also now either wants to get into Bitcoin, out of Bitcoin? Until we can explain why literally every single person is trading at the moment that you care about the price movement, which is impossible. This idea of trying to explain every move, I'm never going to buy it because also, even if you can accurately do it, even if you're that person who's like, you know what, I know why every single person is buying and selling right now. Cool. Once again, that doesn't make you, it's not like you get extra money. You don't get a medal. You certainly don't get a cookie for explaining it. What you get, the reward is being on either the right side of the price movement or you lose money by being on the wrong side. There's no bonus points or lack of bonus points for being able to explain it. And this is a thing that's been picking up recently because a lot of people yesterday were saying, I'm buying Bitcoin because it's down and there's no news. Well, there is news. This concept of Michael Saylor and strategy, and people are starting to realize that it's really, really silly to be in strategy because there's better vehicles to get exposure to Bitcoin. I am by no means against Bitcoin. I did make an update video yesterday, and some people interpreted me saying you shouldn't be in MicroStrategy to mean I'm against Bitcoin. I'm not against Bitcoin. I have a lot of Bitcoin, and obviously I think that there are grave issues with the US dollar and the fact that it's always being debased. I am not against Bitcoin, but obviously I'm going to be a big supporter of the best vehicle for you to get exposure to Bitcoin. And guess what? The best exposure to Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Go buy Bitcoin, put it on a cold wallet, move on with your life. But this idea of trying to get it through the ETF, or somewhat thought to be the ETF of MSTR, why? I have not heard one compelling argument whatsoever of why anyone should be getting MSTR. I understood it a couple of years ago before the likes of the ETF vehicles such as IBIT. I understand it before those creations, but now that there are these large bank-backed ETFs that exclusively have Bitcoin in it, great, you have that. There are now leverage ETFs. You also have it for the longest time already leverage on the futures market. So the question of the best vehicle for a one-to-one, the best vehicle for a leverage, I just don't get it. I truly do not understand why anyone is considering MSTR. And I think the market is starting to agree with that because you're seeing as Bitcoin is going down, unfortunately, once again, I'm a Bitcoin supporter. I don't want it to go down due to the nature of the corporate loans and these debt covenants and the debt servicing. You're seeing MSTR get hit at a higher degree, and it is problematic for the Bitcoin sphere as a whole because remember, MSTR has 650,000 Bitcoin. So in a weird situation that they're forced to sell, Bitcoin's liquid, but it's not that liquid. Like, it just does not make sense to me. And I think that I really hope it doesn't happen because I know a lot of people are involved in MSTR and I don't want anyone to be losing money, especially because it's just in their mind, it's pitched as just a direct correlation to Bitcoin. So like, I don't really blame them for not doing research because most people just run on headlines in this world. But I just on a human level, I don't want it to go down because I think it's going to be impacting a lot of individual people who don't know that they kind of got caught up in a trap. And then beyond that, it's going to impact the crypto sphere as a whole. If they are forced to sell, which that would only be an extreme rare case. I don't want to make it seem like that is likely at all. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is not likely because there's other business avenues. Like, for example, they could just stop paying the dividends. That is part of it. So for everyone's like, oh, what about making good on your dividend payments? Like literally they have the option to just stop paying their dividends. And that's one thing that Peter Schiff has recently gotten wrong. And I'm not even saying I agree with that guy. I think he's wrong on many, many things. But I just think this is problematic. I really, really do. Because they buy BTC and their price goes up when it goes up. I'm about to make a couple grand on MSTR calls from the stupid low they hit yesterday. What does that have to do with anything? You're not disproving my point. If you bought Bitcoin, you would be making money. You're not taking advantage of MSTR, you're taking advantage of options. If you bought options on IBIT, if you bought options on BITX, you're truly not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying the vehicle of MSTR is a poor vehicle for you to get exposure to Bitcoin, whether in a bullish direction or a bearish direction. You have ETFs, you have leverage ETFs, you have futures contracts. This argument that no, it is this is such a silly fallacy. You're saying that it is good because you're making money in this one trade. What? How does that make sense? That's such a weak argument. And the fact that you're putting money behind those bets is actually deeply worrisome. Deeply worrisome. Crypto's retail traders hit hard as strategy ETFs plunge 80%. MSTR, this is problematic. And I know yesterday you had people trying to argue that this is somehow perfectly correlated with this, when in reality, it's going down way worse. What is this time frame? This is roughly November. I mean, people were telling me to look at it. And when I look at it, they look awfully freaking different. There is some correlation, but it's low correlation. These things are just not correlated. They're simply not. Of course, there's a measure of correlation. That's a mathematical model that we could actually apply to it. So there's going to be some level, but it's a weak correlation. It depends on the time frame you're looking at. But yeah, they're slightly directionally correlated, and that's it. You know what's better correlated with Bitcoin? The actual ETFs. IBIT, BITX is going to be a leveraged one. These are actual legit legit correlation, because guess what's in the ETF? Just Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about the other, as I keep poorly referring to it, like the other business aspects, such as when are they going to buy more? What's their average hold? Are they going to sell it if it goes below a parity? Like, it just, there's so many additional business things that unless you like really astutely understand what's going on in MSTR, I don't think it's the best vehicle, and I've never heard a compelling argument that it is the best one. I think a lot of people, they liked it years ago because it was the only exposure via the world of equities, via the ETF itself. But now that times have changed, I feel like there's a lot of, especially retail traders, who are not going to be changing appropriately with the time. Is MSTR like a leverage bet? No. Kind of. It's like a leverage, somewhat correlated, but somewhat uncorrelated bet. That's what I'm saying, is if you just want to leverage bet, go get BITX, go get a Bitcoin futures contract. Like, there's so many other ways to do it. If you want leverage, go get options on IBIT. Like, there's so many ways to do it that even if you're like, no, man, I need a leveraged Bitcoin bet, MSTR is still not your best option because it lacks correlation. It has some correlation, but there's ones that are more highly correlated with it. So if you're really trying to make a bet, you would naturally think that you should go do that. So once again, I have not heard a singular compelling argument of whether you want to express a bullish or a bearish opinion on Bitcoin, why you would be using MSTR. I've not heard a single compelling argument, and that's honestly just because I don't think there is one. There just isn't one. I would definitely get puts on MSTR once Bitcoin hits 20 EMA on the daily. Maybe. Once again, if you have an opinion on Bitcoin, you should go express it in something that is directly correlated with Bitcoin, not something that is leveraged and kind of has a correlation, but also kind of doesn't. And it depends on the day, and it depends on news announcements, and it depends on billionaires and regulations and this, that, the other thing. It simply does not make sense. But anyway, let's just put a pin in that for now. I'm more than happy to chit chat about it when the market opens. But in terms of the overall market today, we were supposed to get the JOLTS job openings, and then they pulled that off the docket for some reason. So as of now, we technically have nothing scheduled coming into today. At 10 a.m., we were supposed to get JOLTS job openings, and I don't know if that one's from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I believe that it is, but I guess we're not getting that anymore. So interesting to note. But what is new is that I guess President Trump is making a big announcement today at 2 p.m. So you might want to put that on your radar. You might want to set an alarm, especially if you have some sort, I don't know, who knows? This might be relating to the market. It might be him announcing Kevin Hassett officially. It might relate to Ukraine, Russia. I don't know if there's really any context on this, but obviously there is a non-0% chance that it's going to be impacting the market. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. President Trump speaking at 2 p.m. Eastern today, Tuesday. In terms of earnings, we're technically in earnings season, but not that these are really names that many people care about. After the market closes, I'll be paying attention to CrowdStrike. Tomorrow morning, Dollar Tree and Macy's. Thursday, Kroger and Dollar General. And then that's pretty much it for the week. I guess Ulta Beauty. I know some of you in here do trade Ulta Beauty, so I wanted to point that out. And even though it doesn't have earnings, I do think this is interesting. Apple to revamp AI team after announcing top executive's departure. The iPhone maker is looking to get AI efforts on track after failures. My question to all of you is, two of the quietest Mag 7 names, Apple and Google, have not really been in this discussion of like the AI trade. But now all of a sudden, it seems like those are the two making the biggest news, and not only news, but like legitimate business moves. And then all of a sudden, some of the ones that we've been hearing the most about, you don't really hear about them. If anything, when you hear about NVIDIA, it's because all of a sudden they have more competition with Google. Haven't really heard anything about AMD in a hot minute. Meta, haven't heard about Meta in a hot minute. It feels like a lot of these very popular AI plays and how we mentally associated it with the AI bubble over the past couple months, all of a sudden it feels like there's a little switcheroo. And I guess I just want to know, like, am I maybe a little too close to this? Or I was going to ask you guys, like, I mean, all of a sudden, even though the markets are getting hit, or they were hit, Apple and Google were holding on pretty well. So it feels like recently there's been a bit of a shift. Obviously, I'm still a big fan of the tech trade. I'm still a big fan specifically of the AI trade. But now I'm at the point where I'm almost wondering, is there a better way to express the AI trade? Apple basically at all-time highs, Google basically at all-time highs, and then all of a sudden we're seeing a bit of weakness across the board in AMD and NVIDIA. Like I said, it feels like there's a little bit of a shift going on. Very quickly, if you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. My mod will put it in chat. It's also in the description of the video. This is 100% free. It comes to your email inbox every single Sunday. I break down what's going on in the market, little cheat sheet for earnings, little cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. We were supposed to have the JOLTS job openings, but I guess they pulled it from the list today. But at 2 p.m., we're going to have Trump speaking, and apparently it is big news. Just so you know, tomorrow we're getting more jobs numbers and more PMI and prices data. In terms of seasonality, today is leaning slightly bearish, but it's not like the end all be all by any means. At one point it was bullish, then it was bearish, recently bouncing back. So you could either call it leading bearish, you could even call it neutral. For the remainder of the week, tomorrow is neutral, Thursday is neutral, and Friday is very clearly bullish. So like I said, that is 100% free. It's in the description of the video, and my mod will also drop it in chat. We are about a minute away from market open. I just want to let you know this is the last day to take advantage of the current Apex deal. It is ending in 15 hours. This is your last trading session for the 80% off with code Goonie, and also the $40 upgrade lifetime fee. And there's that big specialty deal on the 100K account. So just want to let you know that this is the last trading session for it. That code Goonie will get you the best deal. Obviously, I use the 50K accounts. I know some of you, here's my 50K accounts. Some of them are brand new. Others have been around ever since October 20th. So these are looking pretty good. I still have my TPT accounts. They're actually upgraded now. They went from eval to pro now. So these quote unquote performance or whatever the hell you want to call it. But anyway, this is the group that I'm rocking right now this morning, but I wanted to let you know just that this is your final trading session. Code Goonie will get you the best deal on Apex, on Tradeify, on Take Profit Trader, on Funded Futures Network, on all of it. If you're ever wondering whatever the current deal is, just throw in that code Goonie. But I did want to bring to your attention that this is the final trading session for this deal on Apex. And on that note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, hang on. I wanted to give you guys these key levels, but I saw this. MSTR as a long investment is a vote that seller can accumulate BTC on your behalf, yield a cheaper debt, more so than you can accumulate yourself. But once again, if you are looking for leverage, go get the leverage product that is directly correlated. This isn't, dude, there's Bitcoin futures, there's leverage ETFs. Like, you can get that direct correlation at a higher leverage, as in your singular dollar goes further than a singular dollar should go with a better product. So once again, there is not a singular strong, cohesive argument for MSTR. And then don't even get me started on MSTY, the yield max. It's not a scam in terms of breaking the law, but it is, proof of financial Darwinism that some people just are going to blow their money and are not going to see the most evident red flags ever. So MSTR, it's a very, very weak option. MSTY is the weakest option. But if you want Bitcoin, go get Bitcoin. If you want leverage Bitcoin, go get leverage Bitcoin. MSTR is a stupid argument. Like that one right there, it's a vote that you think he could get more, as in you think a singular dollar can go farther. Great, go get the leverage stuff then. And then you don't have to worry about his potential business plan failing. There is a non-zero chance that MSTR fails and Bitcoin takes off. So think about it this way. You have two options. In option one, Bitcoin fails. If Bitcoin fails, MSTR fails. Option two, you can have a situation in which MSTR fails, but Bitcoin doesn't. If you're a fan of Bitcoin, why would you take the risk of the latter camp? Why? Why? It doesn't make sense. If Bitcoin fails, they both fail. All right, so the concept of it doesn't work out, which I don't think that's the base case. But there is a situation in which MSTR fails, but Bitcoin doesn't. Why would you possibly take that risk? It doesn't make sense. So generally at this point, people then try to argue, well, I want the leverage. Okay, great. Go get leverage elsewhere. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. Anyway, coming back to market open. These are the key levels of the day. As I always do here, let me go to the 10-minute. I mark out the previous high, low, and close. That is this green, the red, and the white horizontal lines are Monday's, yesterday's high, low, and close. The white box is the transition zone, bullish above, bearish below, choppy within from the perspective of market makers on making the market for zero DTE options. And then the final thing are these yellow horizontal lines, which is just where we see the major players today position. There's big gamma support at 6,815, 6,800 is a big psychological level. And then you have a little bit of is this a call credit spread? You do, it's a small one. But regardless, it appears to be a call credit spread up here at 6,850. I wouldn't be surprised today if we just ping pong in between the bounds at 6,815 and 6,850. There's a big pocket of positive gamma here. If it does break out and keep going, then you could have a reach target of 6,880. You have some players up there. And then your very reach target would be all the way up to 6,900. So 6,900, 6,880, 6,850. A little bit of a switcheroo here at 6,825, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is basically, that's the top of the transition zone. Then you have the closing value, and then you have the psychological value down here at 6,800. And then I do want to remind you on the daily chart, SPX, the actual S&P 500, still has this downside gap fill to 6,776.40. So please be mindful. If this trend line breakout fails, if this push fails, obviously your first natural target would be this downside gap fill at 6,776. If you're wondering why do I say that's your natural target? Well, if you do any of the stats on how often are these gaps filled, it's just very, very high, especially when you're talking about major indices. There's some pieces of thought and reasoning of why that does or doesn't happen. But what you need to know in an effort to make money is these gaps are filled with a very high accuracy. I'm by no means saying it's guaranteed. Obviously, even if you look on SPX or NDX, if you look at the charts, in fact, there are still gaps that have existed from weeks, if not years ago. So it's not like they are always filled, but they are filled with a very, very high likelihood. So not guaranteed, but filled with a high likelihood. Out of the gate, NVIDIA is having a good push, and so is Bitcoin. MSTR is recovering because of, once again, it's basically a leveraged Bitcoin play. It just doesn't have that strong of a correlation, unfortunately. Palantir is also having a good opening right here. AMD is looking pretty decent. All right, so Palantir is the biggest gainer. MSTR is actually the biggest gainer. What do we do? All right, MSTF, Microsoft is break even, Meta's break even, Tesla's break even, Google slightly green, Apple slightly green, Broadcom's up about 1%, looking good. AMD's up about 2%, NVIDIA's up 2.6%, and Palantir's looking good. So out of the gate, Bitcoin's looking good, NVIDIA and Palantir are looking exceptionally good. They're looking very, very good. RUM is awakening. We're getting a little bit of a breakout alert on that one. Nice. Well, that's a nice pump there on SPY. So we bounced where today off 31. So we didn't even hit the transition zone. Your first natural target would be yesterday's high value at 43, but I really care about 50. And the reason I care about 50 is just because I could see that's where people are structured right here at 50. Where are we looking? That is a bullish open. I missed that for sure. But I didn't really miss it because, it's a little early for me. I mean, I don't mind trading now, but to trade in the first minute or two, it's just not necessarily my style. Some people might like to do it. And hey, maybe you have a trading strategy that is really good at trading at market open. I've worked on some in the past. It's just my current version of Icarus. I don't like to trade like right out of the gate. Obviously, going long at 30, like going long at any point in here would have been pretty nice because we pretty much are open. Where's my cursor? My cursor's here at 9:30. So pretty much if you went long at any of the points today, you'd be looking really good. That was a nice entry. That was a little chasey, but hey, you got to play it up to 600. So obviously I haven't done anything yet today. I have my 20 Apex accounts, 15 of them. When I say that they're big, that just means they have bigger buffer. They all started with 50,000. And then I have 5 that are smaller, as in I've only traded on them for 2 days. So they're only up $500. So I'm happy that they're not dead. I'm very happy about that. But also they're not really alive, are they? You know, they're not really alive. So let's wait and see how this plays out. What is the win rate for Icarus? I think in the realm of 60%. It's a little bit skewed because a lot of those times when I do the break-even trade, that actually counts as a loss. So if I really had to guess, it's probably closer to 66 to 70, something like that. But it's just a little skewed. I'm not saying it's like all of a sudden like crazy different, but it's in that realm. Roughly 2 out of 3 trades make money, and 1 out of 3 don't. And I think that's actually a pretty good mathematical explanation of people think to make money, you have to be right 85, 90, 95% of the time. And you don't. You could actually be very profitable, and not even be right 40% of the time. You can, that's only a part of the equation. I think in the world of retail trading, there's this gigantic focus on being right as much as you possibly can be, but that doesn't necessarily make you the most profitable. In fact, you could come up with a system that is right 99% of the time and still is a net loser. And I think there's just a lot of people who don't really, that's not even that complicated of math. Of course, when I explain that and people think about it, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's just one of those things that in the world of retail trading education, it's never initially explained. So people just don't think about it. But in terms, the equation that we're talking about is your expected value. You want positive expected value. That means you're a profitable trader, which obviously if you're trading is probably your goal, I want to say, unless you're crazy. But hey, whatever floats your goat. But remember, the equation is the percentage of time you're right multiplied by your average win size. And then you take away the percentage of time you're wrong multiplied by your average loss size. And a lot of people, especially in the world of retail trading, get very, very, very focused on this concept of I just want to be right all the time, but they don't look at their average win size and their average loss size. And I would actually argue that that is like maybe even more important, specifically your average loss size. At what level on new Apex can you request a payout? Go just read the FAQ, but there's various rules. It's not like a level. It's did you trade enough days? Did you have enough profit? Did you not take that big of a loss? It's not a level, but I feel like you already know that, Jay Keith, especially for how long you've been in here and how much we've talked about Apex, that shouldn't be news to you. There's no such thing as like a level. Can you get it? The main requirement is the amount of trading days, and you have to, every payout period, you have to have a minimum of at least 8 trading days. And for me, I'm not going to be at that next cycle of 8 trading days until Thursday. I need today to trade today, Tuesday, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then again on Thursday. So I've traded for 5 days. I need to trade 3 more. You are terrible and an N-word. Well, that's nice. That's thank you for that comment. Thank you for that input over there. You are terrible and an N-word. Nice. Nice. That is the top tier commentary we're looking for. Uh-oh. All right, here is a look at the flow. We were pretty strong until just now. We took a little bit of a heat, and actually the Mag 7 is holding very nicely. Mag 7 is holding very nicely. SPY taking a little bit of a hit there. It looks like you had some call selling and some put buying right as we ran into yesterday's high. So people are basically just reacting to this key pivot level from yesterday, i.e. the high value from yesterday. 5-minute is bullish, 10-minute is bullish, 30-minute is bullish, 4 hours bullish. On the S&P 500, looking at the NASDAQ, 5-minute is bullish, 10-minute is bullish, 30-minute is bullish, 4 hours bullish. So all these are above their major EMAs on ES and NQ. So momentum is bullish. Looking at price structure, well, we have higher highs and higher lows. We have higher highs, we have higher lows, so price structure is also bullish. So bullish momentum on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ 100. Same thing with momentum. Looking at options flow, Mag 7 was bullish going flat, but holding. And then the S&P 500 actually started off a little bit bullish, but right now is taking a bit of a hit. And I wonder if we're just going to be able to bounce out of this. So basically the market having an overreaction to the high from yesterday. Once again, the NASDAQ is holding on a little bit better while the SPY is But in terms of the NASDAQ holding here, look at NASDAQ, NVIDIA is holding, Palantir is holding, AMD is holding. What time is it? 43. All right. I just slapped on a long. It was a little chasey. I was about 5 points away from where I should have gotten the fill if I played Icarus perfectly. I am long. Wow, I actually got a really bad fill. Fuck. Well, we'll see how this one plays out. I should have gotten a fill at 90, 92 if we're being generous, and I got a fill at 97. Obviously, I'm risking this recent low. So I'm not risking that much. Obviously, I'm a little bummed out that I was slow to react. What is this one? 88. That's 10 points. No, I don't want that one. Let's see how this looks. Fuck. I could have added another one here at 90. Dude, I'm reacting slow today. I'm reacting a little bit slow today. 78, 75. That's not much of a difference. It's only saving me 3 points. I was thinking about moving it up to 78, but that's only 3 points. Obviously, I like that I'm long below 600 key technical level, or more so of a key psychological level, but 600 happens to also be a key technical level. So I like that my long position is below it, because in the event of a breakout, if it does retest it, there's a chance that I'm protected by 600 itself. Obviously, I'm looking for the breakout of the current regular trading hours high up here at 13. And there's nothing special about my price target. It's literally just like auto set to be 50 points above where I get in. It's just how I set up the ATM. There's nothing special about this level. And that's because I care far more about my risk than I do my profit. My really 98% of my confidence or 98% of my confidence in the trade is from properly moving risk rather than just arbitrarily swinging for the fences with like some big profit target. So I care far more about moving this red line up. And really what I want is this break above 13, the current intraday high here, because then I can move my stop to break even. And that's what I care about. And hey, if we hit my target, great, awesome. But there is an argument to be made to move it up to 84. I just wish my life were made easier by here at 600. We just get that pop and then I could either go to 88 and just take on 10 points of risk. Like it's getting smacked at 600. All right. Didn't work. We were looking good. Maybe I could have moved it up to 84. Knowing my luck, this is just going to be a little bit of a sweep and we pop back anyway. Knowing my luck, that's how this is going to play out. But hey, that is part of the game, and you always got to protect yourself because sometimes we do bounce back, and those are obviously like frustrating as a trader. But what's more frustrating is imagine if it breaks and it just keeps and keeps and keeps on going, and that is mathematically where you blow out your account. This sucks. There's actually a very high likelihood that this bounces right back and I would have been fine anyway. And even if that happens, I want to stress this because I think this is very, very important part of being successful and how I've been able to grow my accounts as much as I have is because even if this bounces back, yes, you could have said the woulda, coulda, shoulda, Matt, if you held on to it, you could have made money. And let's just even say arbitrarily that happens 90% of the time, as in very favorable for you to take that risk. What about the other 10% of the time where it just keeps going and then you just completely blow out? What about that? So at that point, the game is just over. So like you literally have to restart. You're no longer playing the game. So because there is a non-0% chance of that happening, you have to be very strict with it. Now, I could have tried to re-enter at 76, risking 68. And if I was playing a little bit more rapidly, like if I was, I don't know, faster to react today, I probably would have done that, taken this 50 EMA recovery, just risk that recent low because it looks like the overall momentum is still decently strong. It is trying to hold on there. A little bit of a hit. What happened was I just got knocked out on this Mag 7 smack. That's what happened is someone, and then there was this flow alert, unfortunately. But yeah, someone dumped some Mag 7 calls after I got into my position that dropped the delta. And look at that. Had I held, I would be already back at pretty much break even, but you just don't know the next bar. So in this idea of like, well, maybe you should just prepare for the worst, because that means you're inherently always protecting your account. Granted, does it feel like, just as a human, like a little bit crappy that if I waited, I could have gotten out for break even and taken no loss today? Yeah, no, okay, fully agree. But what's crappier than that is if it just kept puking and puking and puking, because you don't know if there's like a random options position getting destroyed. If Trump says something, this, that, the other thing, you always have to care the most about your downside. You always, always, always. It is that exact style of how slowly but surely I've been able to grow these accounts, especially the bigger ones, $25,000 each. That's how you do it. It's 100% how you do it. I took a reasonable shot. And by reasonable, I guess I was off by my entry by a little bit. I could have had a slightly better one. I could have tried to re-enter here. That actually probably would have already gotten knocked out for break even. If I'm being completely honest, if I went long here at 80, probably this dip here would have knocked me out for break even. So even if I skipped this trade, that would have been somewhat of loss, maybe a slightly smaller loss. The second trade, if I took it, would have been break even. Like, it happens. Remember, this game is surviving the game of variance. That is the point of this, is can you survive variance? And the best way to survive variance is you're going to take hits, and you're probably going to take hits. Just assume 50% of the time. I strongly, strongly, strongly believe your base assumption should be that you're going to lose about half your trades. So with that, I do like this though. If you train your mind to be like, okay, I'm going to be wrong half the time, you start to do stuff like this right away where you're like, cool, I'm going to minimize my loss. So just, I don't know, I'm flipping a coin. And if I'm wrong on this coin flip, I want it to be a small loss. If I'm right on this coin flip, I want it to be a big win. Pretty much that simple. And more important than that is I want it, as it starts to break the trend, ideally in my favor. So if we take out 600 again, I can move my stop to break even. Great, I have a runner. Fair value gap. I know a lot of people try to trade those ICT concepts. And once again, that's just another trick. These prop firms, they love ICT. You know why they love ICT? Because he gets a lot of people to blow out accounts. ICT's concepts do not work. Out of the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who paid attention to them, there's only a handful. Like, I'm talking less than 5 who have made money. The odds of it are just not good. There are very, very few. Like, I'm literally saying below 5. I don't mean this like figuratively. I mean very literally. In terms of people who are successful trading ICT concepts, it is less than 5 people on this planet, and he's not even one of them. It's just, prop firms love people who trade ICT because they blow out all of the time. Like, literally all the time. They are just making these prop firms money and money and money and money and money. Do I want to move it to 76 or do I want to go break even? I wanted to break and hold it. See how it almost broke above 600? We just barely tapped it, but there must be a wall of people selling there. Right here. This is what I need it to break so I can move my stop to break even. Fuck. Come on, just take these guys out. Take them out. Take these guys out. Remember, these are sitting sell orders when it's above. All right, we took them out. Freebie play. My stop is at break even. Go up to 49, undershoot that. It's a free play. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work. All I know is I'm taking on no risk. Dude, just stop. They work. It's not different than trading moving averages or RSI. What do you mean? Those are just two different things. ICT is a concept of how to trade. Trading moving averages is just a mathematical model. You can trade EMA and make money. You can trade EMAs and lose money. That's different than a trading strategy. EMAs are literally just like a mathematical computation. ICT is a trading concept. It's not a mathematical computation. It's the ramblings of a fucking lunatic who tells people that he created the algorithm that runs the market, and yet he's never been profitable. Like, seriously, like, how do people fall for this? K-ship. How does it never click in your brain? I just got knocked out for break even. How does it not click in your brain that something is off when the guy's never made money? You don't have to trade within the first half hour, bro. Of course you don't. Duh. But seriously, like for all these people who fall for, and not just ICT, because like there's a lot of dipshits in this world. How are people falling for this when they've never proven to be profitable themselves? Ever. Ever, ever, ever. You don't have to trade in the first half hour. Yeah, of course, you don't have to. But what if you have a really good system that only trades in the first half hour? Like people, like they just don't approach the game in a mathematical way. They don't. This is just a game of variance. You're not going to get every trade. If you approach it a lot more like a card counter or a professional poker player, or if you approached it like a seasoned sports gambler, you understand unit sizing, you understand variance. There's not some mystical like model about this shit. It's totally different. Fair value gap is just where you put volume area high and low. Indicators are different than support and resistance zones. Fair value gap is, once again, it is bullshit. It's reverse spark notes. It is literally taking the simple concept of support and resistance and making it sound immensely complicated. It is stupid. I'm telling you, if you are spending hours dedicating yourself to that, you are wasting your time. The odds of you being successful are what? Maybe there's 3 people who are making money trading these concepts out of hundreds of thousands of people who attempted it. Your odds are low. Like they just are low. And it's the reason it's so low is because this fucking nut job took the most basic concepts in the world of support and resistance and thought to himself, how can I overcomplicate this? Fair value gap is liquidity not stupid. You're calling me stupid, and your sentence is FVG is liquidity not stupid. All right. You got me on that one. I forgot that FEG is liquidity. You don't even know what liquidity is. Like truly, you have no concept. Liquidity is the people willing to buy and the people willing to sell. This is liquidity. These are the sitting sell orders. These are the sitting buy orders. That is liquidity. You don't get liquidity by looking at previous trades. Liquidity is a real-time thing of where sitting orders are. That is the definition of liquidity. And obviously, the deeper a book, the more liquidity it has. You don't get the concept of liquidity by looking at previous bars. Are you fucking stupid? This is... FEG is liquidity. It is not stupid. It is stupid, and you are stupid. And I would bet my entire net's worth you are not a profitable trader if you truly believe this. You just don't understand what the market is. Like you have truly no concept of how to be a profitable trader, hence why you're not a profitable trader, because you're falling for this dumb shit. And the fact that I have to try to convince you to stop financially harming yourself is really what blows my mind. Like the thing that fascinates me most about the ICT crowd is how do people who are maybe somewhat intelligent in other aspects of life, how do they fall for such an obvious scam? That's literally not right. Okay, sure. This is what I'm attempting to convince people to stop financially harming themselves, and like, I'm not financially harming myself. I'm not. I know my account's going down. I know I've never had a profitable month, quarter, or year, and I know the guy teaching me has been proven to be a fraud multiple times over. And you're like, nah, I bet he's right. Like we just saw you lose 2 trades, dude. Come on. Oh, yeah, because 2 trades means... So, wait. So if I made those 2 trades, that means I'm an amazing trader? That's how it works? That's my point, is people are too fucking stupid to understand what trading is. You can lose 2 trades. Does the best poker player in the world lose 2 hands? Does the best blackjack card counter in the world, can he lose 2 hands? This is what I'm saying is... I'm attempting to help make your argument better, to point out like my downfalls. Am I a perfect trader? No. But like you're literally too dumb to understand where you can even criticize. ICT did great in the Robbins Cup. Yeah, he, in 2 days blew out 95% of his account. Dude, these people, they're so fucking dumb. So insanely stupid. But like, I don't know. As much as we try to help them, it is financial Darwinism. Some people are so dumb that they're forever just going to keep losing money. And as much as you try to point out the most basic mathematical concepts to them, they're like, nah, no, it's right. I watched that video. Seriously. And not even me rambling. Who are the fucking retards in here that are trying to defend this guy? Who are the dipshits? I don't even know your names anymore. Oh, shit. Icarus is about to fire. Hang on. Where were we? I got distracted by trading an actual system. He said something that I really wanted. If you're some sort of like hardcore supporter of this guy, does it really not register in your brain, like whatsoever? Does it not register in your brain that he's never had a profitable year? He's never had a profitable quarter. He's never had a profitable month. He is never, in his years of trading, in his years of telling you that he has created this algorithm, does it not like strike you as being strange at all that he's never actually consistently produced a profit? Someone needs to explain to me why right now in this world of trading influencing, everyone is held under a fucking microscope of like, prove it to me. And then people go out of their way and they prove it and they show their broker statements, this, that, the other thing. And then people are like, nah, that's just not good enough. And then all of a sudden these dipshits just give him a pass and like, nah, he doesn't have to prove it. Or they admit he doesn't know how to trade. And then they come up with some sort of like bullshit. They're like, yeah, but just because you're good at teaching trading doesn't mean you're a good trader yourself. What if none of his students are good at trading? Like, it blows my fucking mind. And then they'll just keep giving them money. They'll keep pissing away money trying to trade the concepts. And then all of a sudden, it's always like the carrot in front of the donkey of you fuck up, you lose money, and then you're tricked into thinking that there's something else you should have been doing. You're continually tricked into this idea that, oh, no, I just needed to learn more. I just needed to learn more. And you didn't need to learn more. What you've already learned is just bullshit and stupid. And then all of a sudden, they're now shutting up. Where'd they go? Well, I'm not surprised the one guy's a dipshit because he was also arguing that you should be an MSTR. So he just sounds like, what's that the financial domination thing where people like to lose money? The one guy in here is like legitimately into financial domination and he just wants the market to completely destroy him. So that's an interesting concept in itself. And then the other guy, I think is just as dumb as could be, but they probably left by now, unfortunately. They probably just left by now. You hate to see it. I'm at break even, by the way, in this whole conversation. I just want to let you know that I'm at least not going further in a hole. So I had a losing trade, a break even trade, and now this is my third trade of the day. So one losing trade, one break even trade, and this third trade is currently up $700 per account, which actually I could get out now and make it. Did K-Ship leave? Well, to be fair, ETH bullish, I was making fun of you too because you were trying to defend him. Matt, would you drink and party with the CEO of AMC? I would drink and then tell him he's actually a fucking pervert. That's another one that people just gave a free pass to. He was catfished. He thought he was talking to an underage girl. And what? People just don't care about that anymore? Like, we live in mystical, magical la la land where, yeah, I get it. He was catfished because he's an old guy and he didn't know that he was clearly talking to someone who wasn't. But he gets a pass even though in his mind he thought he was talking to a 17-year-old at the age of like 65, 70? And just the AMC community is like, nah, that's fine. Because he actually wasn't talking to a 17-year-old. Doesn't the intent matter? The fact that he thought he was talking to a 17-year-old, no one bats an eye off of that at all? Do you ever use Market, Cipher, or Vumanchu as an indicator? I've never even heard of them. Never even heard of them. Dude, people are just fucking nuts in this world, I've come to realize. Whether you're as stupid to believe that the fucking rambling of a lunatic like ICT is going to make you a profitable trader, to as much as supporting a person who thought they were talking to a 17-year-old. And they're like, the argument is, but no, he actually wasn't, because it was a 35-year-old who was catfishing him. It's like, but the point is he thought he was talking to a 17-year-old. And if you're somehow going to give a pass for that, you have a fucking problem. I would love for this to get back above 37 here so I can move my stop up to basically break even on the day. I think my break even is in the realm of like 26-ish, and I want to move my stop up to 23. And I'm saying break even on the account. The trade itself is already at break even. Do I want to move? I feel like I should. All right. So no matter what, I'm making $400 back. So like I said, it basically brings me to break even if this trade. So the trade itself, this one individual trade will make me 400. I'm down 472. And I could actually go, if I wanted to, I could be aggressive and move it up to 30 and guarantee myself a profit on the day. Maybe I will do that just to prove a point to the dipshits in here that there is a mathematically appropriate way to trade. Yeah, I'm going to do that just to prove a point. Wait, did we lose him? Where was that guy who was saying that I inherently don't know what I'm talking about because I had 2 losing trades? Do I now inherently know what I'm talking about because I have a winning trade? Is that how it works? Did he leave? I want to know. Okay. He didn't. Hey, dipshit. He's still in here. I'm just curious, by this dipshit's logic, the fact that I'm gonna make money on this trade, does that now mean that I know what I'm talking about? Wow, imagine actually losing a trade and streaming it. It's crazy, dude. I know they don't call me Loco Mateo for no reason. They don't call me Loco Mateo for just any run-of-the-mill reason. Is that dipshit still in here? They just want you distracted? Hey, they've done a good job, but guess what? I'm still making money today. Guess what? They could distract me as much as they want, and your boy's still making money. That's the nice thing of having an actual profitable trading system. It gives you the leisure in your life to argue with people because all you have to do is stick exactly to the system. Easy peasy lemon squeezies. What is this? Oh, it's going to knock me. Oh, almost knocked me. It's coming for me. Knocked me out. All right, so now that I made that back and I'm officially green on the day, does that give me the pass of knowing what I'm doing? I'm asking for a friend. Asking for a friend if that's how it works. Anyway, the Mag 7 options flow started to pick up at 9:56. We saw a nice little pop up this yonder way. SPY also tried to recover, and what just knocked me was obviously right here. Someone just dumped it. So they bought some calls, they sold calls and they bought puts, dropping the delta simultaneously. And that was this little pullback in price, unfortunately for me. But sometimes that is how it goes. We did get to the high of yesterday, but we didn't quite hit. I really, really thought we were going to go make a move straight up to 50. Interesting. Bullish. We We got that break. We got that break. What am I missing? It feels like there's a piece of this puzzle that's missing right now. I need to set an alert. Wow, look at that breakout. I need to set an alert here on SPX. All right, I'm going to set an alert, add alert at 49, I don't know, 90. I want to know when we're getting to this level because I have a feeling the way Tesla's getting a breakout right now. Tesla, nice structural breakout. That Tesla's looking good ever since Monday, November the 24th. Nice, just up, and away. Let's look at Tesla. Oh, look at the Mag 7 starting to go here. Wow, the Mag 7's really picking up. The SPY is lagging a little bit. That's what I find to be a bit confusing here. It's lagging a little bit behind for whatever reason, but we haven't hit that level of 50 yet. I would understand the slowdown in price if people were just, hey, we just wanted to target 50. Well, this has changed quite a bit. This has really changed today. That's all negative gamma, 6870. All right, I need to update this to 80. We could still watch that here. Let's go to the 5-minute. But where did that end? So it's all this negative gamma to 70 to 80. Okay. So we should probably also watch. My stop just got hit. Fuck. No. It's another wick out, I bet. But anyway, sorry. I was trying to figure these levels out for you. 70. This is probably one we should pay attention to. 70. 70, 70, 70, 70. So I am now flat. Wow. Someone just hit something in the Mag 7 right here. You can see it in NVIDIA specifically. Not the biggest hit. Well, that's strange. Not the biggest hit. It's a little delayed. I mean, you see this peel off. There's a little bit of call selling there. It looks like some calls for Friday. No one's touching puts, though. That's these blue lines. No one's really touching puts. Calls really ripped from 10 to about 10:10. Obviously, I had the protective stop that just got clipped. We're maybe bouncing off a 600. A little bit of a dip there. Let's see if this can recover. If it recovers, I actually really like it as a continuation long. But I need to give it a second. What just happened? So a little bit of call selling. So not necessarily bearish, but a lack of bullish. And that was this hit here. Someone just seemingly locked in. The SPY hasn't really been able to catch its footing. Bullish, 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 bullish. All right, so momentum's bullish. Structure, we have this double bottom on the SPY. We have the continuation higher. Wow. So all those fair value gaps. All those silly fair value gaps. Ah. If only we saw the fair value gaps. It's so silly. People they cite that and they don't even know what liquidity means. How can something either have or not have liquidity, but then it changes based on the time frame you're on? It just does not make sense. And if you spend more than 4 seconds thinking about it, you're going to realize it in fact does not make sense. Oh. BTC gonna need to breathe. Someone's salty? It's not salty. I'm just tired of so many retail traders losing money. Dude, if you don't want to believe me, just enjoy, like, you are a net losing trader. Maybe you should try a different strategy. Maybe you should look at the market differently. Maybe. Oh, fuck. Like, is that really that crazy of an idea? I would bet any amount of money you're not up. You are not a net profitable trader. I'm not. Maybe you've been fortunate enough to have a profitable session, maybe even a week. But in the long term, you are not a net profitable trader at all. No way, no how. And the fact that you're going to be so emotionally defending it, even though you're not making money, like, explain that. But Matt, the candle sticky was green color. Hey, as good as any other reason to go. Like, it is financial Darwinism. Like, at a certain point, LOL, no shot, I'm a losing trader. I guarantee you are a losing trader. Guarantee you are a losing trader. Guarantee it. I don't think there's been anything more evident than you being a losing trader. Guarantee it. Have 8 spot positions when about 3% now all green. I'll send you my statements. No, you won't, because you're not a profitable trader, dude. You're not a profitable trader. You're a lying piece of shit. Like, it is the most evident thing. I'm a profitable trader. And yet you believe in fair value gaps. Are ice shanties still a thing? They're the thing. Did you ever figure out the answer to the cat scratch question from 2 weeks ago? I don't believe so. What was the cat scratch question? What was said cat scratch question? Tesla still moving? Where's Tesla? Had a nice pop from 427. Unfortunately, getting a little bit hit right now. I'm trying to watch this. I do have a long on at 25,641 on NQ. Obviously, we're trading at 35, 36, so I'm a couple points underwater. I'm just trying to update the risk. And if we could pop here, if we could take out 50, 55, I'll be able to either go to break even or like considerably de-risk the play. But it's a long play. And why I'm doing a long play is because the trend of the day is up and we haven't quite hit where I feel like there could be a reaction. Of course, at this point, I would love for it to be a breakout and a continuation, but I'm still really thinking that the market would want to test 50. It's just more of the real question is, even though I'm confident in us hitting 50 today, it's kind of, can you take advantage of that with low risk? Just because you have high confidence in going somewhere, that doesn't necessarily tell you the pathway to getting there is going to be a simple one. Do I want to de-risk right now? Probably should. I de-risked a little. Once again, long on the NASDAQ via NQ. I'm long at 41 and we're trading at 36. Anyone who questions Matt reasoning, his take on level price and wants to live on their hopium because of refusal to admit they're wrong, stop before market humbles you. Happy 56 months. 56 months. That is crazy, dude. Shout out, Camille. You've been an OG for a while. You've been here for a hot minute. What is the flow looking like? I need this to recover. Yeah, it just got clocked again right there. Fuck. Ooh. Someone is dumping the Mag 7. They're just, once again, it is not bearishness. They're not like all of a sudden YOLOing into puts. They're getting at a call. So it seems as if across the bigger names, some people, it might be selling to open. They could be selling calls above, putting in kind of a ceiling. Most likely it is selling to close. They're most likely realizing their profits. But that's a guess. We wouldn't really know the net situation until the end of the day. We have to see how some of the data settles. But I was attempting to play this, and I was hoping that this pullback would be shallow. But you could see right here at 10:17, someone really clocked it. Really clocked it. Fuck. My golden question right now is, how much risk do I really want to take? Like I said, I am long at 41 and we're trading at 25. So it is underwater. And the question is, where do I want to anchor my risk to? We just dipped to 16. That's reasonable. I could do it to 600 or a slight overshoot to 600. My bias, whenever I find that I'm thinking about it out loud, generally it feels like it's smarter to use the closer one. But right now things are so fucking whippy. And now I'm getting those weird fucking orders, the rate limit orders. Fuck, dude. I guess like when you move it too much, you get rate limited, and then all of a sudden Ninja freaks out at you. What the fuck? How do I hate when I run into it. It's when I'm moving my orders too much, and it's literally what the name says. You hit some sort of limit with how many orders are, I guess, hitting the brokerage, and it's really easy to do it if you have a copy trader. How do I even handle this now? Do I have to, I've fixed this before. I think you have to like cancel the order. It's such a pain in the ass. It's such a pain in the ass. Where the fuck do I even do that? I think I have to kill the orders and then replace them. Orders. All right, I got the order canceled, and then I just have to, I believe, quickly replace them. But I don't know if I could do... So this is a very like niche issue. To clarify, it's when you're copy trading. So basically every time I place an order, technically I'm placing 25 because I'm doing one order, but it's on 25 accounts. And then when you start moving it, if you move your profit and your stop, which like I'm always scaling my stop up, that's technically a new order. So every time I move it even one tick or replace it, that's a new 25 orders, a new 25 orders, a new 25 orders. They allow you to do that. And then you get into this cool off thing where they don't allow you to move the line again, but they do allow you to place brand new orders, but it can't be like from an existing one. I don't know. It's some like weird fucking rule that generally, because I'm always moving it with a copy trader, it is just, I guess, the bane of my existence. The bane of my existence. But anyway, I am watching this trend line. I'm still really looking for SPX to hit 50, which happens to be the high from 2 sessions ago. And also it was a gamma level and now it's switched. So some people are going long to that. And then really I could see a pump up to 70 today, going from negative to positive gamma here. All right. It finally let me put that order back where I need to put it. Here's a quick look at flow. SPY, it was flat, sold off, tried to bounce, slightly selling right now. What the drop is a little bit of put buying and a little bit of call selling, but nothing too dramatic. The dramatic moves were more so in the Mag 7, which maybe seemingly has bottomed. I'm seeing a pop right now in the Mag 7, like literally right now hitting the tape. The Mag 7, someone is buying longer dated calls right here, this orange line. Someone is buying calls on what? Is it AMD? No. Is it Apple? Yes. Someone is buying calls on Apple as we speak. Avago? No. Coin? No. CoreWeave? No. Hood? No. Microsoft? Yes. Someone is buying calls on Microsoft as we speak. MSTR? Meta? Netflix? Even someone got calls there. NVIDIA? No. Oracle? No. Palantir? No. Tesla? No. So there was a couple names there. AMD, Avago. I'm surprised Netflix caught a bid there. I thought it was going to be Tesla. Wasn't even really NVIDIA. Huh. Apple. Anyway, yeah, Apple leading us a little bit of a pop back up. A little bit of a pop back up. Potential trendline breakout on the cues here for all my trendline traders. Obviously, your risk would be the recent low, and you're looking for it to either measure move, or go to the intraday high, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, sister. So Apple caught a nice bid. I got a trade on Apple. I sold puts on Apple yesterday. The Discord knows all about that, though. Apple. Apple's having a great day. Apple's having a good day. So if you are in the Discord, you know I have a put credit spread right now on Apple, and it's looking pretty decent. It's already up 63%. So I've almost captured all of the premium already. The max you can go when you do a bull put spread. Once again, this is selling a put and then buying a farther away put for protection. The most you can get hit is 100%. So if I realize it right now, I'm already over half of it, but I sold it at 16. The spread's trading at 6. I should probably get out at 3. Yeah, I'll throw in that order. Maybe I get a lucky fill. Cool. We did that. So catching this, once again, that is a premium selling play. So obviously directionally, if you're bullish, you go long a call. I was bullish to neutral. So instead I sold puts, as in, for my sports bettors, that's equivalent to an over bet. Wow. We are whipping around today. We are whipping around. A little bit of a trend line retest right there. Let's see if we can take out the intraday high, because that is the exact point that Icarus will have me go to break even. That is the exact point. Oh, all right, little trendline retest. You're getting that. Obviously, that's the recent low. Here's another recent low. I assume the Delta is puking again. Yeah, the Mag 7 got a nice pop and then somehow just gave it back. So even though people were buying up Apple, someone crushed something else. Damn, we are all over this map today. Yeah, someone's selling off something here. Choppy. And the Mag 7 did try to recover and then got goosed. Right here, someone's still selling on the Mag 7. Oh, not necessarily the highest vibes right now, if I'm being honest. I thought after this little hiccup on the recovery that we were going to get going on that trendline breakout. But now we're just range bound with the SPY showing a bit of weakness. But Apple's looking good. Tesla must have been the one that just got hit right here at 1026. But Apple's still showing some relative strength. The Q's effectively just range bound. Shit. Where is our VWAP at? It's down at 520. That's a far ways away if it's a VWAP retest. That is a far ways away. Dude, another fucking rate limit order. Dude, this rate limit order is going to be the fucking death of me. I try to just move. The rate limit for too many order requests has been hit. Please wait and try again. Fuck you. How about that? And then the worst part of it is they make you accept okay on 25 different accounts. Wow, the SPY really just got smoked there. Well, this is low vibes for me. I try to move that stop. I guess, fuck. If I was thinking, dude, I feel slow today. If I was thinking, I would have just manually flattened all instead of having this fucking rate limit issue where I could have moved my stop up and the orders got fucked. I don't like this rate limit bullshit. Don't like it. All right, we now basically fell to maybe an important structural level that we saw here at 953. The SPY's back to the intraday low. Maybe it wants to come to 25. Like I said, intraday low, intraday low. We have key gamma levels right here at 25. Maybe we bounce off of here. Maybe there are dip buyers coming in, SPY low, Q low right here. Totally possible. But someone just now clearly got out of some size. I bet we could even see it here. Yeah, look at that. Mag 7 ripped to 1012, took a hit, tried to recover, and then the market said nope, and at 1025 continued downward. Dude, I don't know what the fuck to do here. Like my orders, I can't do shit with my orders. I'm almost like frozen. It's kind of some horse shit. Yeah, and now look at this, dude. What the fuck do I do? I guess I could flatten all, but it feels like it's so far gone. I'd rather just put in my protective orders and see what the fuck. This is frustrating. Maybe I get lucky with a miraculous turnaround. That's my only thing. Like I said, if I was faster, there is a way to protect yourself. If you run into the issues I'm currently having, you can always flatten all. Like that is an option to you, even if you're running into this. So like if I were really quick, I could have done that. That's possible. So you're not like completely out of it. I'm just more lamenting the fact that I was slow to do that as soon as like my wrist should have been hit. So now I'm just pissed off about it. Are dip buyers coming in here? The overshoot. Apple's still holding. Tesla did get hit. Nvidia is not looking the best, but we did sweep all these lows on the Qs, on the SPY. I wonder if we're just bouncing up from here. We did tag 25 perfectly. I just need to think of the best way to handle my risk. Fuck. Should have been faster. This one's all on me. We actually almost hit VWAP at 525. Wow. How are we looking on this? Last closing was down there at 12 or whatever. A little bit of positive gamma at 15. A lot of negative gamma at 40. 50 is now a little bit of a ceiling, and then it goes up to 70. We try to get a little bit of a bounce. Let's see what this wants to do. What in the world are we doing today? Dude, I'm just looking at these orders hitting the tape, and there's like, it's kind of speeding up. Like we're just getting these big bursts. Are we seeing any? Okay, so the Mag 7, the longer duration, as in not like for further out than this Friday, had a big spike and just vomited all the way to 1030. And then right at 1030, it seemingly stopped. Price is still getting hit, though. It freaked people out. But look at the options flow. Oh, fuck me. Now the SPY is still going down, starting at 1025. Maybe it'll stop. Maybe it'll be a bit of a double bottom, but we're pretty much not only at a price low, but a delta reading low. The delta is getting unwound pretty aggressively here. Pretty aggressively. Holy shit, folks. That SPY was a bit questionable. Mag 7 was looking actually legitimately good, and then fucking goosed. Just came completely undone at 1025. Oh. Well, I think it's honestly as simple as this. I think the bull party, looking at the 4 hour, the daily chart, is pretty much back on a recapture of 682. If you were looking at SPY and if you're looking at Qs, I guess above 621.50, 622, something like that. Basically, where we started this aggressive sell-off, if we recover from that, I think the market is basically saying that the equilibrium, i.e. price, is fairly higher. But that's a big if, because we're not seeing recovery in the Mag 7 quite yet. Maybe it won't. It could actually get worse. But I'm kind of, I keep looking over at this screen to kind of track it. Actually, I should just bring it up on a whole nother one so you guys could see price. Oh, that was definitely some aggressive call selling. Some hyper aggressive call selling. A little bit of a potential VWAP bounce here. Where do we have the flow? The flow took such a pivot today. Crazy to see that. All right. So the Mag 7 flow is no longer getting destroyed, but it is flat at the low of the day. So buyers aren't quite coming in yet, but it does seem as if the vomit as of 1036 has stopped. So maybe some buyers are going to take a shot here, which isn't the craziest thing. On SPX, basically you're dip buying off of the 25. If you're taking a stab at it, obviously your risk is just this recent low. So the risk reward I don't dislike. Your risk is, I don't know, 4 points. Like, this is your risk and your reward is riding it all the way back up. I don't necessarily feel the bet up. Mag 7 just literally, as I'm talking, took another hit. Right here, that purple line diving. Someone just keeps selling calls. Like, all that call selling, then a little bit of buying, all that call selling, going flat. Someone just sold another chunk of calls. Once again, the data is not explicitly clear on selling to open or selling to close. So there is some sentiment of locking in profits, or is it a new position putting in a ceiling? We're not going to fully know that until the end of the day. But from a delta perspective, it has the impact. Call selling is call selling. From a sentiment perspective, it can tell you different pieces of information. Obviously, there's a difference between lack of bullishness and then a neutral to bearish bet. Oh, what are we seeing here? I'm looking at this recovery of the 1029. If you're on the 1 minute bar, basically this 1030 spike that we saw, I want to see if the market can recapture that. I want to see if the market can recapture that. What is that? On NQ, it's around 25,580, and we're currently trading at 70. So we're getting pretty close, but this is what I care about. Let's go to the 5 minute just so we could see this a little bit better. Wow, things were looking so good until they weren't. Did something get announced that I'm somehow missing? All right, so All right, intraday high, low, and then just some of these intermediate bars. How's the flow look? The Mag 7 is just not recovering the way you'd want it to if you're bullish. If you're bearish, you're probably stoked that it's not. Oh, Mag 7, SPY took a pretty gnarly hit. SPY's trying to recover a little bit, but it's not like one of these big bounces. Almost seemingly like a little reversionary bounce. I don't know. In my own mind, I'm wondering if I should try to play this recovery. How much is the risk? The risk isn't the worst in the world. I'm wondering if I slap on an NQ. Do I want to go long NQ? The question is, what is my risk? Can I take advantage of it with minimal risk? It hasn't really gotten that recovery breakout I was looking for above 80. You could see it a bit here. Like, I want to see this bounce because it's still bullish, bullish, bullish. So that's why I'm more so thinking recovery, just buying this dip. But I want it above 80. I would love for it to take out this. But then the range has expanded so much that even if you take this breakout, you're risking 50 points. So then the question is, do you try to get in early, or do you use a closer risk, or do you size down? There's a couple ways you could play it, and it's kind of dependent on your personality, your account size, this, that, the other thing. But I'm looking at this 5-minute recovery. I'm looking at this 5-minute overshoot, and then maybe a potential recovery. So if ES can get back above like 43 or something. Jesus, dude, another rate limit. All right, so I'm trying to throw in a long position now for this recovery. I need to put on the risk right away. Dude, these fucking orders. All right, hang on. I'm rate limiting out. I need to fix it. Let me kill my copier and restart this. Hang on. All right, anyway, I got to fill at 75. And the risk is currently 50. No, I can't even move that risk again. Fuck, I have to cancel it. I have to cancel sell stop limit. Okay. All right, so I'm long at 75. Risk is 52. And we're playing this recovery. I'm not using the depth of the pullback. I'm using something a little bit closer. And honestly, part of me just wants to move it to break even because I'm up almost 25 points. I'm just worried about this rejection. But, all right, I moved the stop up to break even. So I'm long at 575. Stop is now break even. I'm 25 points, and I'm just worried that it might get rejected at 600 here. How is this looking? Okay, we have a bit of recovery. We have a bit of a recovery. Nice. I don't know who's spamming. I almost locked one in. Almost locked one in. Fuck. I tried to lock it in at 20 and we hit 19.75. My order's been sitting at 20. Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. No fucking way. Look at that. 19.75 is the high. All right, nice. Got that. So obviously couple positions. Right now it's 2 contracts. We've been managing multiple positions here. We're going to see what we can do. What is this high? 40. 40. You have 50. What is this high? This high is 54. That's on a full recovery, though. That's on a full recovery. How do I want to play this? What is this high? That's 54. So maybe dump 1 at 50. And then maybe have 1 runner. Or maybe go to 700. Maybe just put them up like that. Maybe that's the best way to do it. Oh, decisions. How's the best way to play it? Matt's always 1 tick away. That's how we do it, dude. If you're not 1 tick away from making your profit to the point that it blows you out, are you even playing it right? All right, but I do think I need to consider stronger risk management here. So this is now a free play because that's where that one was entered. The other one was entered at 40. Okay, I do like this setup right now, at least how I have it, because this one was here entered at 75. That stops at break even. This one was entered here at 41. So if I get out there, that's technically break even. But then I'd be down because this got out at what, 20? So it's off by 20 points. 41, so that would be 61. So if I wanted to play this mathematically where it's fair with these free runner plays, it would technically be 61 that I get out. Right? Is that where this got in? That's 41. Actually, no, it's 62.50. All right, I'm just doing some quick back of the napkin math. 21s, I got out at 20, so that's off by 21 points. 41, so 62.50. That one's already at break even. I'm trading all the contracts as the way it does its math here. It's not necessarily the best. Not necessarily the best, but I'm treating them all as independent trades, basically, which maybe isn't the smartest move because I could move this up to 95 and that would actually be better. Oh, that's the smart way to do it. Move this up to 95. Oh, okay. I have a better way of handling the risk on this. Sell stop market. Okay. So that gives me an extra 20 points. I can move this down to 50. Okay. I figured out how I want to do it. All right. Good. I'm happy with it. I am happy with this setup. So I undershot this one by 20 points when I took in this profit from that contract. So this one I moved to in the money by 20 points to discount that. And then if the, yeah. Okay. I'm good. And then ideally we just hit that. And then the final one I just set to break even and we could just let it rip. And it doesn't even really matter at that point. It doesn't even matter. I'll probably just use 600 as my stop, or maybe I'll leave it here at 95. That's probably what I'll do, is in the event that 50 hits, I'll leave this one at 95 and then I'll leave on my reach target on the day and we're good to go. I just had to figure out that fucking order limit issue that was kind of fucking up when I was getting in and getting out, but it is what it is. It's a part of the game. SPY, somewhat still recovering. Mag 7 slowly grinding up. Probably not as much as you'd want it to, but clearly just a brutal fake out. Like, you see this shit. Unfortunately, you have to be prepared for it because sometimes when you drop, it's a legitimate drop. But in this case, nope. SPY's actually about to go. Jesus. And it did go. And we're off to the races. If you are in the Discord, Piper just fired. So you guys have that. I should probably place a trade. I'm almost to my target here. Almost. And then the only other thing I really need to do is make a trade myself. Oh, how do I want to do this? Almost got it, Phil. Damn it. Like, seriously. At a certain point, how unlucky can I get with this shit? You guys have seen this order just sitting here, and we got up to, what was this high? 48.75. So I was a point away, a point and a tick away from getting that fill. There we go. All right. That one's at 95. I need to do some quick math here. 60, 80. Move this down to 95. All right. Hopefully this hits and it's my final trade of the day. But I'm already net positive, right? No, I'm not. Realized that's 1,000. So for me to have that realized, to undo that, that needs to be 50 points. So technically, I need to move this up to 25, which is right about here. So this is my break-even point on the day. This line, this light blue line, is where I would have to move my stop to be break-even on the day. Oh, hang on, though. I did make a trade. If you're in the Discord, what? Orders. Oh, it's still filling. Oh, I guess I got a partial fill. I feel like I should do that. Move my stop to break even at this point, because my break even's at 25. We're all the way up at 70. Okay. There. So obviously the trade itself is up almost 100 points here, 94 points. This is the trade. The individual trade's up almost 2K. The net on the account on the day is about half of that. And I'm just going to keep trailing this. I mean, we just hit a fresh IB high. Hopefully it doesn't come all the way back to 37. That would be a bit of a bummer. Maybe I should be a bit more aggressive with this trailing. That is, I could use 36. The fact that this, my stop is right above this. This is green on the account on the day, which is obviously what I mostly care about. Hmm. $37. It just hit the IB. It's so commonly rejected on the first time of testing IB. This is like the one major stat I know about it, is that it gets commonly smacked right here. I'm just looking for a lucky recovery. Oh, come on. I'm fighting the odds right now. This red dash line is the IB high, as in the high of the first hour from 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern. When you first test it, the chance of the rejection is pretty high. So like I said, I literally know I'm fighting the odds right now, which partly makes me wonder if I should just get the fuck out, take the green on the day, count my lucky stars, and move on till tomorrow. I'm also thinking about moving it up a bit higher. I mean, if it could just take out What is this high? So this high is 57. If it takes out 57, I'm moving it up to 37. Come on. I just want to keep moving my trailing stop up. Oh, I did get that fill. All right, if you're in the Discord, I did a little bit of a trade here. All right, hang on one second. If you're in the Discord, I'm putting this in. I already put Piper in. Did that take out 57? Oh. My variant on Piper for the day. All right, if you are in the Discord, I put in my 0DTE trade and Piper also fired, so you could check that out if you care about selling premium. And then obviously if you're a futures trader, you know my trade. I have one contract left. It's currently up 74 points, which is 1.5K, something like that. But it's just struggling at this IB high. I really wanted to take out 57.60 so I can move my stop up to this shelf at 37. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Go, go. All right, maybe more than this. Maybe I should show you guys. All right, so we overshot the intraday high, but as of this moment, not the best follow through. Decent follow through on Apple. Nvidia is also catching a little bit of a bid right now. We definitely don't need that, and we definitely don't need this stuff. Sorry. So this was the IB high, IB low, IB high, IB low. What are we at? Bullish, 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 bullish. That was basically the trade I took. I explained it to you all before it happened. When I wanted to go long at 80, I ended up going long at 75. My initial risk was like 47, and then I moved it up, and now it's even way higher. But I explained the trade to you before I even got into it. We technically we did hit 50 right here at 10:51 a.m. ET today. We did hit 50. There was a little bit of a jolt to the downside in options flow. Nice recovery all the way up there. Little bit of profit taking. I say profit taking because 0 DTE calls got hit, but not that much, not as much as they were before. So we're seeing a bit of a recovery, but part of the problem we saw earlier today was related to the Mag 7, which just took another fucking hit. There's random hits going on today in the Mag 7. Right here, just another one. Boom. Someone just dropped another chunk of calls on the Mag 7. So somewhere in Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla, all these recoveries really get going, and big hit, recovery, big hit, try to recover, big hit, try to recover. Oh, someone actually just bought a big chunk. Look at that spike. What was it? Someone bought longer dated calls, and price seemingly didn't react, at least not yet. They didn't get the memo on this giant call buy right there. So Mag 7 is waking up. We're seeing some, oh, actually price is going the other way. Fuck. Oh, I feel a lot less stressed because my stop is at break even on the account, and it's way above break even on this particular trade. So I'm now fortunate. Oh, it was probably Apple. Apple just caught a nice bid. I'm in the situation where I'm long at 75. My stop is all the way up at 27, so it's 50 points in the money, a little bit more than 50 points in the money, so I will be net green on the day. Even if this vomits right here and gets hit, I'm break even on the day, and then the trade itself will be obviously 50 points in the money. So I'm fine. The net trade up here, I'm up about $500. There's maybe an argument to get out at 75. I wonder if I should just get out at 75. Oh, brother, how do I want to handle this? You never know what the next bar is going to be. You never know. Maybe a little trend line break right there. On this trend line break above 60, I'll probably move my stop up to like 43, 44 if we get this trend line break, if we can take out 60. It's struggling a little bit. Knowing my luck, it's going to come down, dip, knock me out because this is just my arbitrary level. And then it's going to skyrocket if I really had to guess. But who knows? Maybe I could get lucky here. I should actually probably do the math of ensuring that I make at least $50 because that, ooh, hang on. I might be able to use this. 38. I was going to use 37 anyway, so it seems as if all roads lead back to 37. All right. So no matter what, I am now going to make at least $200 per account. So worst case situation, $200 per account, 15 accounts. Worst case situation is $3,000. So I will happily take that. Some days the market has nice follow through and you're on the right side of it. Other days you don't. And when days are choppy like this and we're seeing craziness, especially in the Mag 7 options market, if you can somehow get yourself into guaranteed green on the day, you're going to take it. And I'm in the situation with Apex where, of course, more money is better, but really my focus is can you get green and specifically be green by about $50 because you need that to count as like a, I don't know, one of the, I think out of an 8-day trading window, which is the minimum days you need to do a request, 5 of them have to at least be a $50 green day. So really my goal for the remainder of the week at minimum is $50. So the fact that I'm guaranteeing myself 200, cool. It's a winning day. And I'm leaving the trade open just in case it goes. Okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. It just hit me anyway by some random. But you can see right there. So made it I guess slippage kind of hit. I mean, that's another weird issue. You guys saw it at 37 and it just tagged me at 33. So it was 4 points of slippage, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So we made money. It's green. Got a little bit messed up there. What was that? Apple's still going. The fact that Apple just keeps climbing really makes me think that this could keep, like, Apple is going right now. That had to be the big spike that we just saw here. That had to be Apple, right? Yeah, look at that. Apple's going a little bit nutty. Apple's going a little bit nutty. All right, I'm long again at 43. If we could take out 60, I'll move my stop to break even. But since I'm already green, I might want to be a little bit more aggressive about this, but I guess I'm just still bullish because of what I see going on in Apple. It's attempting to recover here. Nvidia's a little bit weak. Intraday, obviously still green on the full day. AMD. So semiconductors are getting hit a little bit while the rest of the tech sphere, well, not really. Tesla. Meta's looking good. Microsoft's looking good. So Apple's going, Microsoft is going. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, fuck it. I'm moving the stop already to break even. It's way too early. Technically, I'm breaking Icarus's rule, but whatever. Protect the account. I'm already green on the day. I don't give a shit. It's a freebie trade. I'll move it one tick in my favor. All right. I am long at 43. My stop is at 43.25. And if it goes, it goes. And if not, this is my favorite type of a trade to kind of explain to everyone, because worst case situation is I'm just where I was. Who cares? And then best case situation is I catch a runner. And even if you have to do this, like, think about it. If you do it 5 times and 4 of them are break even, do you really give a shit? You didn't take on risk on 4 of the trades, and on the 5th one with no risk, you got money. That's, in my opinion, especially when you're in this world of like Apex and whatnot, I think that's a much better way to approach this. Obviously, that's my own thoughts and opinions, and maybe you want to approach it a little bit differently. But when you have as much buffer as I do, the name of the game is just keeping your account up. And then if it grows, awesome. But really, you're just trying to burn time to get more and more requests. And that's why I just care about keeping it at break even. So maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe it'll hold. well, technically the fact that it took out 60, I should be here anyway. So even though I did aggressively move it early, this would be the play. And then obviously I'm looking for the breakout of whatever this is, 70. And once again, this is just an arbitrary 50 points. I might even move it. What is this level? 61. So if it takes out 70, this high that we saw at 1051, I'll move my stop up to 50, and then that'll guarantee me 7 points, which is $140. I'm up 200, so that'd make me 350 on the day. And honestly, at that point, I'd probably call it. I believe there is a big aspect of potentially overdoing it, especially if you're doing the sim funded stuff, just because you just want to get more and more and more. And I found that some of my best streaks are like you get in, see if you could get your account in the green, get those good trades in, and then just walk away and do something else with your life. When is Trump talking? I believe at 2 p.m. Let me see. 2 p.m. The president makes an announcement, Roosevelt Room, White House press pool. Do you guys want me to stream that? He's speaking in 25 minutes. I'm seeing 2 p.m. This is a cabinet meeting, but the important announcement, I believe, is at 2 today. Where was it? Right here. President Trump says he will be making a big announcement at 2 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So it looks like he has two things going on. Cabinet meeting, who cares? President makes announcement at 2 p.m. I just got knocked out for break even, unfortunately. Right there. Just wicked me out. Can you believe that? On the day of my daughter's wedding. At least that time it didn't give me horrible slippage like it did before. At least this time it actually got me out. It wasn't like some sort of velocity logic issue. If we can get a nice higher low and start to recover, that might not be the worst trade in the world. You know, team? All right, well, I just want to let you know, obviously, president is about to be talking, but the important thing is at 2 p.m. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you guys want to stream it? Do you guys want to check this out in real time together and see what in the world is going on? Or nah? Yes, no, maybe so. 2 p.m. Should we do a specialty stream? We need some sort of thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Santa better come this month. Just a little whipsaw all day. Like I said at the start of the show, I really wouldn't be surprised if looking at some of these gamma levels that open, if we go back to 930, if we just get stuck between 850 and 815 and we're just like somewhere pinned in this region, I wouldn't be surprised if that is exactly how this plays out. The structure has changed quite a bit since then. There is support at 15. There's a little bit of a ceiling at 70. So it's kind of widened. If we bounce around from 20 up to 65, maybe 15 up to 70, that's fair. But looking at the current structure, 50, this is like clear resistance. People have now sold calls there. So that's positive gamma. So that's going to be a tough thing to break. If they do break it, you have a push up to 70. So we're kind of back to what we saw earlier today. And then guess what? Support at 15. So we're even though it's taken a wild ride to get here, we're kind of just now back to what we saw earlier today. So I don't know, something to consider. And hey, I actually feel pretty good that got stopped out at break even, because if I kept holding it, it would have been smashed, which is why you always have to protect your risk. Protect your risk. That is the name of the game 100% of the time. All right, folks, before I let you go, remember this is the final day for Apex and the current deal. Use that code Goonie. You have 15 hours left. This is your final trading session. 80% off with code Goonie. Lifetime upgrade fee from eval to performance is only $40. And then it's even, I think it's only $10 if you're doing it on a 100K account. I don't trade the 100K account. I trade the 50 and the 150. But if you're a person who likes the 100K account, obviously very, very favorable. And all the accounts right now have a big discount going on. So check that out. This is the final day. Pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video, and take advantage of it when you're checking out with that coupon code Goonie. Folks, that's what I have for you right now. Might see at 2 p.m. If enough of you want to stream Trump's big announcement at 2 p.m., I am more than happy to do that with all of you. So yeah, I guess I'll just catch you guys in a couple hours. We'll see you guys back a little bit before 2 p.m. See what in the world is going on with the president. I appreciate all the good vibes right now. I hope you guys make a bunch of money. And if you haven't, well, I hope you're about to make a bunch of money. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Have a good one. Peace.